Schilling, and I am the founder of Retail Way, as well as a co-administrator of Live Malls. Retail Way is a Facebook group that discusses the past and present of pretty much all things retail. Live Malls is a Facebook page that discusses and distributes content regarding shopping malls across the country. Anyway, like I said, this is 12 Oaks Mall in Novi, Michigan, and I'm going to show you around the exterior today. To start off with, that's one of the mall facades right there, and if you see to the left of that facade is Sedona Tap House. It's been a few different restaurants over the years. It's been an A&W, and it's been a Max that remembers off the top of my head. But anyway, we'll get going here. So toward the right of that facade, we actually have the first anchor on the list here is JCPenney. Now, JCPenney was one of the original anchors at 12 Oaks Mall. However, it didn't open until 1978, whereas some of the other anchors opened just a few months earlier in 1977. And then, as you can see over across the parking lot from JCPenney, is Macy's. This Macy's started out life as Hudson's in 1977, but in 2001 it became Marshall Field's, and in 2006 it became what it is today, which is Macy's. And after the Macy's rebranding, that store got an extensive overhaul. It doesn't look too much like what it did as Hudson's on the outside, and it definitely doesn't look like what it did as Hudson's or Marshall Field's on the inside anymore. It's almost like it's a brand new building. But right now we're going to cut around JCPenney. Because of the way the landscaping is in the parking lot, it might take a bit longer than usual to get around the store. You see that shrubbery right ahead of me. So bear with me as I make it around that landscaping. You might be able to see right there in the background is Nordstrom. Now that is by far the newest anchor of 12 Oaks Mall, opening in 2007. In fact, a whole brand new wing opened in front of Nordstrom up in 2007, and I'll show you all that when we get closer. Along the way, you might see some directional signs telling you where the roads are to exit out of here, like that one. And actually, those directional signs like that, you'll also see them as directory signs inside the mall, so it's pretty consistent decor all the way around. So 12 Oaks Mall is a 2-level mall. And it's on land that's set up intentionally wavy, so you can access the first floor of some stores, and you can access the second floor of some stores from the outside. So now as I make my way around, you can see more of what JCPenney looks like. 2-story store here. And what we're approaching is also the former auto center of JCPenney. Of course, closing with all the JCPenney auto centers in 1983. So this wasn't an auto center for very long at all, just a few years, maybe 6 years or so. And then I don't know if you're able to see it, but you can kind of see where you used to be able to drive into the bays, but they've since bricked it back up so it looks like it was never there. The only evidence on this side of it is that stub of a driveway there, and you see it just kind of goes into the wall. So, like I said, this was the JCPenney Auto Center. Currently, as it has been for a few years, it houses the salon. And you also have the customer service desk located inside of it for package pickup and all that. And then here would be the other entrance bay for what was the Auto Center. And you kind of see they bricked it over a bit. There is a small gate, but I wouldn't think that was for the Auto Center. It had to have been much bigger than that when it was still open. And then you can also see a label scarf for the Auto Center. It just simply said Auto Center. It didn't have the JCPenney logo included on this sign. It's just the Auto Center. So there's an entrance for the JCPenney. It's kind of got the greenhouse vibe going on with it, as a few of the JCPenney stores from the mid to late 70s did. Now you can see Nordstrom a little bit better. So yeah, right there is the wing that was added that Nordstrom now anchors. Like I said, this was all completed in 2007. Nordstrom opened in 2007. And then to my very extreme left is the food court, which I'll show you what the outside of that looks like in a few seconds coming up here. Kind of see the food court. Lifestyle cafe is what they've been branded, at least. That seems to be common with the food courts that were remodeled in the mid-2000s in the Taubman malls in Metro Detroit. This mall was actually developed by Taubman Centers. As was a few other malls in Southeast Michigan, including the Fairlane Town Center in Dearborn, Lakeside Mall in Sterling Heights, and Briarwood Mall in Ann Arbor. And I suppose that would also include Great Lakes Crossing in Auburn Hills, which, as of this time, Great Lakes Crossing and right here 12 Oaks Mall are the only two in Metro Detroit still owned by Taubman Centers. And this is another exterior facade of Nordstrom. And then going around this corner, I'll show you more of what this new wing looks like, this 2007 wing. So we've got Nordstrom's third exterior entrance. All right, so now we've got some more stuff coming up. There's the Cheesecake Factory, which opened up in 2013. It's got both an exterior and an interior entrance. It actually started out as a different kind of place called Tin Fish. That only lasted a few years before it became the Cheesecake Factory. We have another facade for the mall, which actually also includes valet service. And here's Lord & Taylor, another original anchor to the mall. But much like JCPenney, it opened early in 1978 rather than late in 1977. And over here we have another restaurant, California Pizza Kitchen, which this also has an exterior entrance as well as an interior entrance. As we get closer to Lord & Taylor here. Alright, so I'm going to have to make my way around some more landscaping before I can show you some more here. Typically this happens when you're going from the first floor to the second floor and vice versa on that side of the mall. But around this corner, we'll see the upper level exterior entrance of Lord & Taylor. And then we'll see what is the former Sears. So 12 Oaks is one of the busiest malls in Metro Detroit. Classifies as a super regional mall. Parking lots packed here usually every day. Of course, with certain circumstances going on today, it's obviously not going to be the case. But under normal operational times, it gets pretty packed in here, especially on a Saturday like today. Now we've got another one of those outdoor directional signs. This one includes actually where you can find some food, as it includes California Pizza Kitchen as well as the Cheesecake Factory. Alright, so we're approaching the second level of 12 Oaks again. You can see off to the distance the former Sears. I'll fill you in more on that in a few. So we've got Lord & Taylor, the old Sears, and another mall entrance coming up this way. This is actually the mall that I do my cardio in more often than not. Walk to at least 6 laps, so 3 laps on each floor. and I can call it a day. So it's kind of weird walking around the outside of the mall for a change. It's a bit of different change of pace. But it's not too bad out here right now, so it's all right. All right, so there's the upper level of Lord & Taylor now. Gotta love the style of the facade there. Not too bad. So we're going to have two of the mall entrances. One over there doesn't really have the stylish facade that most of the rest of them do. But so this one actually is more toward the Lord & Taylor wing, obviously. This one over here is seemingly short distance away from the other one. This one has more of the trademark 12 Oaks facade. This one being on the Sears wing. Even though they're only a few feet, seemingly a few feet apart on the outside, it feels like it's, if you're on the inside, that's an eternity to get from one to the other. So coming up toward the right, now we have Sears. They just recently took the signage off this building. It closed maybe a year ago. So that would be 2019 when it closed, April 2019. But this is the upper level of Sears. This isn't an original anchor of 12 Oaks Mall. Oh, this one did open in 1977. As I zoom out a bit, there's where the Sears signage was for the upper floor. Of course, there are still some Sears remnants on this building. Not very many. Pretty subtle. You kind of have to go close up into it. But we have this right here. That's obviously original to the building from the 70s. So that's the upper level of Sears in a nutshell. But now I'll continue going around. But yeah, the signage was still on the Sears building for almost a whole year after it closed. So they probably finally took it down because they actually have plans for the building now, but it is not known at this current time of the video shooting what those plans are, if there are any. This is only my personal speculation. So I don't have any actual updates on that, but hopefully we'll find out something soon on that. As we go, start heading toward the lower level of Sears, as the parking lot will kind of dictate me having to go around some landscaping again. This is not really one of the easiest malls to walk around because, or at least in terms of efficiency, it takes longer than it feels like it should. So Sears was actually the first anchor vacancy this mall ever had. So from 12 Oaks, its beginning in 1977, all the way to 2019, it went 42 years without any kind of a anchor interruption of any kind. I mean, you have the Macy's on the other side, which began as Hudson's and Marshall Field's, and now it's Macy's, but it was never interrupted. It was open throughout all of its transitions. But time will tell what will happen with the Sears building. This is a nice area that actually even still attracts a lot of new retail openings. So once things become operational, I feel like that there's a good chance that Sears will be repurposed in one way or another, whether they keep the original shell of the building or if they knock it down and build a brand new building in its place. It could be even like some other malls around the country where they knock it down entirely, and instead of having a new indoor building, they make like a very small outdoor lifestyle center portion of it, you know, making the mall kind of hybrid between the traditional indoor mall and lifestyle center, which is pretty cool too. I've been to a few malls that have that kind of setup. Some that come to mind, well, both are in Columbus, Ohio. Polaris Fashion Place and Easton Town Center. You have Polaris, which it's mostly an indoor mall, but it has that slight outdoor portion. Easton Town Center, on the other hand, is more outdoor than indoor, but it has that indoor portion too. As we come up another directional sign telling you, well, basically at this point, because this driveway is a whole circle, you could go either left or right to any of these if you so wanted to. It just would take you quicker or faster. Or what am I saying? Quicker or slower, depending on which way you went to them, but it's reachable either way, so it doesn't matter too much. You'll find it. And there's a McDonald's on the drive. This is actually a brand new build McDonald's. It's only been around for a few years. There was an older mansard style McDonald's on that same spot somewhere. I can't remember the exact year, but somewhere in the, I want to say late 2000s. They knocked down that old mansard McDonald's and built this brand new one up. All right, so here's more of Sears, the lower level. You can kind of see a label scar that they didn't paint over. I'll try to zoom in on that if I can. Yeah, you can kind of see it there now. That's the only one they didn't go over with a paint roller. Because the one we just saw on the upper level and another one that we'll wind up seeing in the next few, they've been painted over looking like somebody took a roller to it. So they did a somewhat good job concealing those label scars, but this one right here, that was pretty evident what this used to be. And this right here also is the former merchandise pickup area of Sears. And now we're approaching the auto center. See the label scar for the auto center here. The auto center at this year's closed a couple, maybe 3 years before the rest of the store did. You can see they ripped off what I think was the exit sign for the auto center. It was actually still hanging up too, but they removed that as well. And actually, this also reveals what was the original color of the building. It used to be a darker brick. And we've got a sign for a nearby auto center, which I'm pretty, yeah. Dearborn, which would be the Fairlane Town Center one. That whole store in that auto center is also currently closed too, so that sign is actually very outdated now. But yeah, this building used to be a darker brick, that brown color there. And when it had the older logo on it, when it originally opened in 1977, that was, I vaguely remember, but I believe it was white signage, which would make sense with the dark brown brick. But I guess once they switched it to the softer side logo, they decided to paint the store this off-white color. And we've got another auto center label scar there. And as you can see, they ripped off the enter signage for the auto center too, and revealing more of that old brick color. And there's kind of the auto center hallway. It would lead to, either you would see them actually working on the car, there was a window for that we could look through, or it would lead into the actual store. And this is, you can see some of the Sears, their decor there, that checkout light. I don't know if you can really see it. Well, not checkout light, checkout sign, I mean to say. I don't know if you can see it from there, but that's still hanging up. But I guess I'll go show you this real quick before I leave this area. The mall had to put up these entrance close signs because I guess people were still thinking the store was open, so I had to figure out a way to deter that. All right, so now we'll continue on going around the Sears building here. And there you see on this facade what I was talking about, where they painted over the facade. And I'll zoom in on it. It looks slightly uneven to the point where it was like somebody just took a roller to it and ended it, put a few layers on, called it a day. But it did the job because you can't really see the label scar too much from that, if at all. And then behind these trees here, you have another mall entrance. And you can tell by this small entrance here that 12 Oaks is a pretty classy looking, it's a very nice looking mall. I wish I could take you inside, but we can't do that until, you know, things are actually open again. So for now, the outside's going to have to do, but I was going to say, I do have photos of the inside on my Facebook group, Retail Way. You can join Retail Way. The link is posted on the description of the video, as well as on the About section of my channel. All right, so now we have Macy's again, which I described earlier. This started out as Hudson's in 1977, opening with the mall. Then in 2001, It was converted into Marshall Fields. And in 2006, it converted into Macy's. And after the Macy's rebadging, they completely renovated the building. It's almost unrecognizable as what it was as Hudson's and Marshall Fields. It's really bright inside that store now. Before the renovation, they had what do I want to call it, a recessed ceiling. It was a dark ceiling that had kind of these like white construction paper looking things hanging off of them. I don't know how to better describe it, but you would also have to check out some of my photos of that too in Retail Way, like I said. I mean, I don't have the ones of the 12 Oaks store here, but I have I have pictures of the identical ceiling that's still present in the Fairlane Town Center store in Dearborn. Alright, this isn't steep at all here, so I'm just going to cut through this lawn section so I can speed up the process a little bit for you. And I'll close in on it, another facade for Macy's, which this is a 3-story building. The 3rd floor features a restaurant, a frozen yogurt place, all leftovers from its original Hudson's days. Macy's never got rid of that. It's still operational in there. The 2nd floor has a Starbucks. And it's also got some of the store within a store concepts, such as it's got that Lids locker room in there and the Finish Line. Speaking of Finish Line, this video won't take too much longer because once I go around this corner, we'll be right back where I started today. And yes, this is the 2nd floor you're looking at. This is the 2nd floor entrance. As you can see, that Starbucks signage in the window. Alright, so judging by that stop sign there, I think it's time for me to stop the video. As you can see where I started there, you see JCPenney again, you see Sedona Tap House, and that one 12 Oaks small facade there. Alright, so that's it for me today. Again, this is Matthew Schilling, founder of Retail Way, co-administrator of Live Malls. If you want to join Retail Way, the link is in the description of the video, as well as my channel. And if you want to like Live Malls, same thing. The link is in the description of this video, as well as the description, the About Me section on my channel. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.